Did you know that male testosterone has dramatically declined over the past 20 years? Welcome back. This is Evan Bass. Get your man on. So happy to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about testosterone replacement therapy and the decline that's happened in men. When I first started in men's health, seeing men get tested for low testosterone, it was mostly guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and up. It was like, guys who are older. And now in our clinics, it's been a dramatic shift where guys in their 20s and 30s have started coming in. We're going to talk about why. I mean, why would that be the case? And that's what everyone always asks me. Why am I 35 years old and my testosterone is low? Traditionally, we say your testosterone declines at about 1% a year starting at age 30. But now we have guys, patients, walking through the doors who are 30, 25 years old with testosterone below normal. Now, the testosterone range, lab panel range is between like 300 to 1100, give or take. Some panels are 280, some panels are 1080. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it's a very broad range. It's one of the broadest ranges in all of medicine for a lab, right? The number that you get there is the broadest. And so we have seen guys dip in, and you'd say, hey, if you're 90 years old and your testosterone's 300, you know what, you're okay, you're there. But to see a guy who's 30 years old with a testosterone of 300, it's just ridiculous. There's a new, relatively new article that just came out from a urologist where he said he thinks that guys should start getting tested for low T at the age of 18. And that way you can have your numbers as you age every year, right? So how we view testosterone sort of get thrown on top of its head. I knew I had low testosterone at the age of 28. Almost as soon as I started in men's health, I tested myself and I had a 282, which is insane for a 28-year-old. Like insane. I should be in the 800s. I should be, feeling good, and I wasn't feeling good. And I see it every day. Guy walks in, younger guy. Some guys are in their 60s or 70s. Guy who is 20 years old today oftentimes has the same exact testosterone of a guy who's in his 70s. And of course, the question, why? Why does it happen? And I think there's a few reasons why. Maybe the biggest one, of course, as I just mentioned, is age. And, as you age, it does decline naturally. It's supposed to. But also, our lifestyles have changed. We now live much more sedentary lifestyles. I come from 300 years of farming. I have a family farm that was started in 1710. My dad was a farmer. His dad was a farmer. His dad. It just kept going. All farmers. I guarantee you their testosterone was in the 700s until they passed away. I mean, they needed it. My grandfather and my dad out there just pushing stuff around, picking stuff up. Their arms were massive. And my whole life, my arms were skinny as rails until I started taking testosterone, and they got a little bigger. So our lifestyles have absolutely changed, and we've gone from, working hard to really sitting in front of a computer. But most of us do that, right? And those of us that don't, I see guys all the time that come in, they're just like, man, I work hard 15, 18 hours a day, 12 hours a day, and I'm just exhausted. I need the push. And they come in, their testosterone's low almost every time. I'm going to say something controversial here, okay? Another big reason why testosterone is on the decline? Pornography. It's well documented that porn decreases male testosterone. And now, again, back in the day when I first started, you had to you had to pay for it. You had to go buy a Playboy. You had to go pick up these things. Now you can just press a button and it's on Instagram. I mean, what those girls are wearing, it's like, holy cow, this is the same thing that Playboy had, 20 years ago. It's changed. And so biologically, what that does to the brain is it tells the brain, hey, I don't need to make as much testosterone because I've just got what I've wanted right here. Another thing, weed. Weed kills testosterone. I don't know a guy who smokes a lot of weed that doesn't have low testosterone. And guess what's become more available these days? It is marijuana. And in some places, I know in Tennessee, there's Delta 8 THC. It's not, it's not quite marijuana. It's kind of like a little different thing. Absolutely going to be a drain on your testosterone. The next thing that pops up, of course, is plastics in the environment, right? So estrogen and testosterone actually compete for the same receptors in your body. You have these receptors, which is testosterone, free testosterone, and you have total testosterone, right? So you have the total amount of testosterone in your body, and then the free amount of testosterone in your body. And so the free amount of testosterone in your body is what's available to go into your receptors and do what it does best. I mean, testosterone is a big part of what makes men men. It's an anabolic steroid. Talk to a guy and he'll be like, I'm not taking no steroids. And I was like, well, you got them in your body right now, buddy. Testosterone is a steroid that's in every man's body. And when there's plastics in the environment, from water bottles, from the foods we eat, estrogen, actually, do you know something that the more fat you have, the more estrogen your body produces? Guys need a little bit of estrogen for heart health and some other things. But when you get too much estrogen, it clogs up the pore that testosterone would also be in. And so you can't do that. And so some of the effects of low testosterone: energy level decreased, sex drive low, your libido's low. Belly fat gain is like sort of the typical sign. You can see, a guy in his mid-30s, early 40s, he's walking around with that paunch in his belly. Low testosterone can absolutely be the cause of that. Mental clarity. I talk to guys who have low T, and they say it's like walking through life in a fog, or walking through life like you're walking underwater. It can be very dramatic. Bone density makes your bones more brittle if you have low testosterone. There's side effects, right? Developing some forms of prostate cancers, blood clots, stroke, heart attack, high blood pressure, other cardiovascular problems, infertility. It's gonna decrease that, and there's some ways around that if you're trying to stay fertile. And then the psychological changes. We see this sometimes, a little bit of increase in aggressive behavior or anger. And you need to know your number, right? You need to go get tested. I love what this guy said, this urologist said, where he said, hey, go get baseline at age 18 and then see where you go from there. And that way you can track how your level adjusts and responds, over the years. And, honestly, I think everybody should be, doing some sort of, workout program in the gym, at home, whatever you gotta use it. Interesting to test that stuff. And when you're teenage years, 20s, when you work out, it really works, right? As you get older, now it takes a lot more to get less when you're working out. And a big part of that can be testosterone being deficient in your body. One of the things that I love to do is try to get guys started on these shots, right? These injectable shots, weekly testosterone shots. And those are incredibly effective. You're just replacing the testosterone in your body with medication that is identical to your body kind of accepts it as testosterone, and then it converts it into energy, into mental clarity, into some things that really can get a guy where he needs to be. And for me, again, I was a dramatic change. Like 2 years ago, I had the belly, I had the fat rolls on the side. I just looked weird. Like I didn't like how I looked, right? All about body positivity around here, of course. But I didn't like how I felt, how I looked. I started testosterone, and then it was a game changer. Literally, I had been working out for a decade. I had the muscles already built, but I was just able to shred the fat and have the mindset to help me beat some of my, alcohol, sweet sugars. It kind of just gave me this ability to just do it. I was just like, some guys call it the difference between going up to a girl at the end of the bar who is hot and not. Like that testosterone kind of can give you that edge. So when we come back, we are going to take your call, and we're going to dive into a little bit of erectile dysfunction and get your man on.